Hello YouTube, my name is Charlie. Welcome to my channel. Today up here in Canada, we're going to teach moose how to fly. No, not really. We're going to try out the bush bow. The bush bow and archery set that we built from this small can. So you all saw up to that. Oh, besides archery, there might be a few other reasons you'd want to cut yourself out a pole like this, a nice stick. One of them is walking stick. Help you keep your balance in rough terrain or in the dark. The other reason is there's snare wire in the kit. You could make a nice snare like that, tie it on the end of the pole really well, and then go snaring fish. Now this is only for fish. You wouldn't use that for small game, but then use that for snaring fish because you got some control, and this is natural camouflage for the fish. This is just a stick hanging over the branch. It's not going to notice it or spook. And the idea is you got a bit of control on the angle of the snare. You have it kind of coming off straight. And the other reason is there's some nails with the heads cut off in the kit. You get 3 good framing nails like that. And you put them in there. You should spread them out a bit. I kind of botched that. But you see and you can use this to spear fish in shallow water. Now, small fish, trout, 12, 14 inches long, maybe pike and white suckers that are about a foot long or a pound. And the idea of these is they'll get off this spear. It's not a chucking spear. It's a stab them and hold them kind of spear. You try and hit the fish near the front end, near the head or the gills, and you hold it down on the bottom till you can reach and get it like that. And so that's how you use that. And sometimes, even if you're just stabbing them, if you stab 4 or 5 and you don't get them to stay on the spear, they're small fish. You walk down the stream a bit in the river and you'll find that you killed them and they're laying there dead. You can also use it on land for small game like snakes and lizards, frogs, that kind of thing. It's a whole lot easier than catching them by hand and more reach. Small rodents like mice and that kind of thing, small mammals, they're pretty quick. They're hard, but still better than trying to catch them by hand. So that's about it for why you might want to stick beside the bow. Now, the bow itself, I'm going to show you how to string it. This is how you string a bow. You could use the spear for crabs, crustaceans, that kind of thing. It would also be a reasonably good defense against an aggressive medium-sized animal like, I don't know, a single canine or a wild pig or a badger or something like that. Like you got a bit of reach, you can keep it at bay and maybe persuade it that bothering you is not the thing to do. A lot better than being empty-handed in that kind of situation. So, I don't know if it would work against a bear, but still better than being empty-handed. The idea is you try and poke him in the face and the eyes. Okay, this is how you string a bow. You get the bottom end on first. You step over with this leg. And see how you brace like that. Now, you hold the loop loose in your hand like that, as big as you can. And you just want to bend it just enough to string it. And there you go, get that on the end. And there you go. Oh, you can all see what kind of shape this stick is in. It's not a Caragana. It looks kind of wizardly, so I've dubbed it Gandalf. It's the Gandalf bow. Okay, now deciding where to hold the bow and where to knock the arrow. The way you start with that is, and you should do this, don't try and do this the first time you're stuck out in the bush. You'll have a miserable time. Practice at home, do it a few times, smaller scale, smaller stuff, so you get the feel for it. What you want in a branch is something that bends a bit without breaking. About this size for your hand, whatever your hand size is. And Caragana was the best. Now, like I said, people say, oh, this is best for bow, this is best for arrow, but if you're out in the bush, you don't got a lot of choice, whatever's around. So I restricted myself to my backyard, my brother's backyard, and down by the storm channel. And my brother had these caraganas in his backyard. That's what I used. And ash branches for the arrows. Okay, now everybody's like, okay, now decide where to post. Now, what you want to do is, with your hand, pick roughly the distance center of the bow, and pull with your fingers. And what you're looking for is, you want the angle of these two strings to be more or less even. That's the center of pull for the bow. So you search along there. See, that's not quite right. Obviously, this is too far. So you get an idea. Like I say, you gotta have a feel for this thing. Do it a few times. So you find where that symmetrical pull is. You get one of your arrows. There's a traffic one. This is one without flights. You get one of your arrows, and you put it right at that spot you figure is the center of pull. And then you pull that. You put your hammers and you pull that, and you try and make sure that as the arrow is being pushed out, it's going at right angles, more or less. And now you have to move up and down, up and down. And it's okay when you got that. Then you mark it somehow. I just taped it off, so you know that that's where you want to hold it. And now you have to readjust this back again. You have to fire a few shots, practice shots. And if the arrow goes like this coming out of the bow, or like that coming out of the bow, you're either too high or too low, so you got to find the spot. So I did some screwing around earlier. I have a little notch of glue. So now we're going to try and shoot some arrows. Oh, yeah. This arrow has no flights. We're going to try that. Just the basic nail, no flights. But I added some flights to these other arrows just to improve the chances. And they're just 3 strips of fabric. And they're attached the same way I put the arrowhead on, with string and the glue gun. And they're put this way so the arrow flies that way. And we'll see what kind of a difference that makes. I also brought some of my factory arrows out to give it a try, but I'm going to try 3 of those first, just to get a feel for the bow. I'm going to target over there just a cardboard box. So, here we go. Oh! Wait a second. I'm just going to wear these cheap gloves to keep from messing up my hands. If you really want, I did nick my back of my hand testing this thing out. If you're out in the bush and you want to protect the back of your hand, you could, I don't know, get a piece of fabric or something to just cover the back. Okay, we're going to shoot 3 factory arrows first, just to get a feel for the bow. Drops quite a bit, low power. It was like, I don't know, about 20 pounds or so. I couldn't find my fish scale. Okay, now the bush arrows. We'll try the one without flights first, and they have the nail in the end for penetrating power. That one's going off. Okay, now we'll try one of those with the simple flights. You like tear a piece of your clothes or something like that. Oh, that one looks like it too. I may have to practice a bit. this is about, I don't know, 12 feet, not that much different from 15. The perspective on the camera might be off. So we'll try the one with no flights again. Yeah, he's definitely got it. It's spooling off to one side. You should practice a bit before you actually start the hunt, but I guess I should see if this thing is still running. Yes, we still seem to be running. So, sorry for the interruption, I'll probably edit that out. So here we go. The one with the flight. That's not bad. I'm going to stick with the one with the flight. Shoots factory are pretty good. As good as any 25-pound bull. Uh-oh. Got a malfunction. Okay, so for the next shot, let's say we're going for the meat. That's a rabbit. We're going for the meat shot, not the money shot. The meat shot. Supper's on the line. That jug's about the size of a rabbit. He's arrowhead. Oh, split. But there we go. Okay, we're trying for the rabbit. Oh! Would have went under his chin. That's the meat shot. One more shot. Yeah, there you go. See? The meat shot. Well, I can even stop the rabbit. That one actually punctured the neck enough, so we'll try one more. I'm having way too much fun with this for a guy my age. Okay, here we go. One more meat shot. Okay. Bow shoot's good enough, nice and accurate. Okay, now we're going to test penetrating power. First of all, I set up that piece of plywood there for backstop. With the bush bow, I'm going to shoot a factory-made hunting arrow into it. Let's see what kind of penetration we get. And then for the final test, we'll try the bush arrow. I just want to get some idea of how much penetrating power this baby has. Hope it doesn't go right through. Nobody over there being safe, 2 fences. Nobody living there. Yeah, didn't go through all that. It didn't go through, but it stuck. And now, the tip that I made like that. This is the best of the bush arrows I made. It was the straightest and longest too. So we'll give it a try. Well, it did put a dent and broke through. I'll get a close-up of that later. So, that's it for the bush bow build. Demonstrate just what you can do with the contents of a little can like this in terms of getting yourself out of a dire. There's other stuff. We'll get around to showing the rest of this later. So, thank you all for viewing. Good hunting and sweet water, my friends.